This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous and gorgeous co-host is Silvia Campello. She is the president and co-CEO of Cosabella. Silvia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so lucky to share that title with my brother, Guido. We run the family business together.
I was so amazed. When you think of family businesses these days, I still go to like the, mom and pop shop on the corner. I don't necessarily think of massive brands like Cosabella as a family business. How many people, first of all, work for Cosabella?
Well, we have about 100 people globally.
Wow.
So we are almost 40 years old. My mother founded the business a long time ago, and we're really so lucky to have grown up in it and continue in the second generation. Now they're nicely retired and hoping that we continue the same spirit as we do every day. So
now I know that Cosabella is sort of like an Italian brand, right? Your parents were from Italy. Did they retire to Italy?
they actually are there right now. So they spend the summers there.
That's nice.
And the winters in Miami. Why not? Right?
and because that's where you are right now. I mean,
Exactly.
and that's where shortly everybody is going to wish to be, because we are, I don't even want to say it yet, but we're heading into the winter months. September for me, it's my birthday month, and for me, it's like always a fresh start, but it's also kind of like, we know what's coming. We know what's coming. But thank God for places like Miami. My parents are in Florida as well. So I get to go down there quite a bit during the winter, and I'm happy to do so.
At least you guys get the beautiful autumn colors. We don't.
We do.
There's pros and cons.
And you know what? I will say there is nothing like New York in the fall. There's really not.
Exactly.
And speaking of New York in the fall, we have one of the most exciting events returning to New York again, New York Fashion Week. We have had it virtually, and now I think that it is going to be back in the flesh. So excited about that. And I wanted to, we're taking a little bit of a deviation in this podcast, because a lot of the times we do stuff really beauty focused, but in honor of the return of New York Fashion Week and thinking so much about fashion and what we put on our bodies, I wanted to focus on what we're putting sort of underneath our fabulous clothes. Because to me, just like your lingerie is the foundation to your wardrobe, it's the same thing as having a good foundation or a good primer to set the tone for your beautiful makeup look. Cosabella, you were also one of the first ones. I'm actually wearing the bralette right now.
Beautiful.
To really create a line that was meant to be seen and not just worn underneath.
Exactly. We really were one of the first to really bring intimate apparel out into outerwear, and to showcase that in a way that's really about the confidence of the woman. It was about color, still is. So many other people have done color since, really bringing out that first layer. If you think about it, it's the first thing you put on every day. You open that drawer. If you can see color and be inspired and pick the color that you feel will most energize you for that day, that's really the first layer that you put on, and really sets the tone for everything else you put on it, over it. So it's very important for us to allow you to really feel confident from that very first step.
Can I just tell you, so I love lingerie. There's something that I love. It's so feminine. And throughout the whole pandemic, I was basically only wearing gym clothes, but the one thing that I kept buying was lingerie, because it just, like you said, for some women, it's perfume. Perfume is that thing that they put on that makes them feel so feminine or empowered or confident. For me, I love having a beautiful piece of lingerie, whether my husband is going to see it or not.
Right.
It makes me feel good. And I love having that drawer. Sometimes I just open the drawer and I just look through all of the beautiful fabrics. Cosabella was actually one of the first, though, to introduce sort of new and creative fabrics.
Yes, that's always been part of our DNA, really the innovation in intimate apparel. When my parents realized that they could bring hosiery fabric into a panty, that really created the trend of no visible panty line. No VPL was really my mother's tag name on all her social media for the past 20 years. She really started that trend of creating intimate apparel and thongs specifically that couldn't be seen under clothing. And that was really born out of using a hosiery fabric, a really, really light mesh, and putting it into underwear, which nobody had done before.
And I know you have a new line that I want to talk about. But before we get into that,
Yes.
let's go back a little bit, right? So what,
Okay.
so tell us about, what was the inspiration for your mother to create this line so many years ago?
Well, the truth is, when they first came to the United States from Italy, she was a lawyer in Italy. So when she came here and they decided to stay here because of my father's job opportunity, she really had to find a new career. And
Wow.
yeah. And so she definitely was not the type to want to stay at home. And she started importing many different things from Italy. Ceramics was one thing. Beautiful sweaters was really a core of her hometown in Carpi, Italy. And so she started to bring those and started to realize that underwear and intimate apparel in the US was very, very basic. Black and ivories, whites,
Like
polyester,
granny
just
panties, right? That I
yes,
remember, like I remember now, I'm only in
exactly.
my 40s, but I remember you would go into like the Macy's or the Bloomingdale's or the Nordstrom. I would go with my
Yeah.
grandmother and it was kind of like womp, womp,
Your
a sea
grandmother's.
of white, beige, and black. And that was it.
Exactly. And it was really the
And
fabrics were
polyester.
polyester, just really matte fabrics and shiny and just basic. So in Italy, they were doing a lot with cotton. And so she realized that she brought in some really beautiful fine cotton underwear. And the market here was really receptive from the department stores. And she just went door to door with the little English she knew at the time, and really started building this following. She got her first big order. They made their first big buy. And then, it just snowballed from there, where they realized that the American market needed specialized designs. And then working with the buyers, they really created their own line, their own colors, and it just grew and grew and grew. And
Can I just tell you, I love these inspirational, you know what? I love these
yeah.
inspirational podcasts because sometimes you look around and you wonder, wow, how did this come to be? And you just, I bet people
Yeah.
walk by the Cosabella boutique and just think, oh,
Mhm.
sure, this is some conglomerate and this is how it started. And just to know that, your mother, who was a lawyer,
Yeah.
well, obviously a very smart cookie, went door to door and created the sale and really built this.
Yeah, and then it was so successful. It really started in our home garage, and then it was
Oh,
growing so fast that my father would help her at night, with the accounting or anything to help her, until it became so time intensive that he decided to leave his job and his career as a engineer of packaging and join her adventure. And then
oh, he was a packaging engineer. So first of all,
yeah,
because your packaging is beautiful. The reason that I just sighed before though is because
yeah.
people who listen to this podcast all the time have heard me say it time and time again. I will never create anything great because I never had a garage. You have to have a garage in order to be successful in this country. I'm convinced.
There are a
I'm
lot of stories. It's
convinced.
true.
I talk to so many people and they're like, yeah, I started in my garage. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah. But
Ah,
you'll really appreciate this in coming in the cosmetics industry. He was actually one of the first designers and has a patent on those really amazing fold out packaging cosmetic displays, the ones where you used to lift and pull and pull and pull, and it was like
yes.
layers and layers of lipstick and gloss. And he actually has a patent on one of those. Yeah.
Wow, what an incredible family you come from.
Oh,
And you are now
yeah.
continuing this tradition. And you mentioned
Yeah.
before too, before we go on to the new stuff, Cosmo was actually, I think now we take for granted the fact that there's so much color in lingerie, but they were
Yeah,
actually one of the first to bring color into the lingerie market.
we were. Exactly. That's what, the colors are always been part of fashion, and Italy is really forward trending and all of fashion. And that's where they saw a lot of opportunity. Intimate apparel here was very bland, and
Right.
they started to bring color in, along with these innovative fabrics. And with those fabrics they were able to really push the boundaries of what was accepted. And I really do think that they changed the market here. And many brands afterwards really had to push the market forward alongside them. So,
I
and they
mean, and you
continue. Yeah.
yourself, you yourself have also done some incredible pivoting. I know during
Yeah.
COVID and the start of that, you started taking the beautiful fabric that you used to
Yeah.
make things like this beautiful lace bralette and creating masks.
Yes, I mean, out of necessity, all the teams we have in Italy producing, they went to work and made masks for their own teams, their families, their communities. And then we brought it to the United States and the rest of the world as something that we would offer. I mean, in this very difficult year, if you could at least match your bra to your mask, it gives
Eh,
some light.
Well,
to-
I call them. I'm so lucky because they were part of the new beauty VIP box. So I actually have two. I've got one in black and one in a beautiful teal, and I call them my fancy masks because it's
yeah.
like if you're going out at night, and unfortunately, I don't think the mask thing is going away. I just don't.
I
So they're my
know.
fancy masks, and I love them. Thank you for that.
And
So let's now go because you've got two new launches coming up that I really thought
yes.
were really cool. So one of them is the it's called the I'm just looking here. It's called the free cut micro, and this is
Yes.
going back to that no VPL. Tell us about
Exactly.
that.
This is like really the evolution of where soiree came from. If the cult followers of Cosabella in its early days, they'll know what soiree is. And that's the hosiery mesh that really cemented us as the thong company with the no VPL philosophy. And free cut is really the next stage. It has no elastics. It lays extremely flat on the body. It's really one of those innovations in fabric where you really don't feel that you're wearing anything at all. It comes
No
in,
muffin top. Listen, it's not just
no,
about what you can see on the outside; it's what it's not pushing in on. So
absolutely.
thank you for that.
No elastics anywhere. It's all built into the technology of the fabric and the pattern fit. And it comes in a dozen nude shades, really to completely become invisible on the body. So it's really special. It has many different styles. So it suits from the thongs to the bikinis, hot pants. Everyone's got their preference.
Right.
And so we just wanted to make something that was the next step in what soiree was, and something new and fresh.
I mean, it's beautiful. And I love, you mentioned the 12 shades. I love that it is, is totally
Yeah,
inclusive. We're seeing a lot more of that. I can't believe it took so long to get
fortunately.
here, but
I know. From
um,
cosmetics to underwear to everything, right? It's
s-
really
so when did that
really fun.
launch? Just recently.
Yes, just recently. Just last month it
Oh,
launched, and it's going out everywhere. And it's really featured prominently on our website,
yeah.
cosabella.com. Um, so let us know what you think.
Are there is there like a favorite that you like of the line or something that you feel, yeah, you have a
Well,
favorite?
I have a preference for like hot pants. I think
Yeah.
they look so sexy and cheeky. And soft bras. I'm a big soft bra fan. I'm a really petite. I don't have a lot to support, and I really love the fit and the cut of our bras. And now we're making a lot of petites, so I really can fit into them really nicely, and I can still feel as
Can I
as
tell
beautiful as.
you? So it's so funny. Like when I was in my 20s, it was like, as soon as I could wear a thong, I was wearing only thongs, right? Thong, 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 thong. Who knows? Maybe even younger
Exactly.
than that. And my mother used to be like, how can you wear these things? And now that I'm a little bit older, I also go for the hot pants because it's just,
Oh, they're so
they're
cute.
so much, and they're so comfortable.
Exactly.
And like just, a lot of the times now I just don't want something riding up my rear. I just don't. I mean, there's a time and a place for a thong. I do love them
Exactly.
still, but I also love rocking around home in my hot pants.
Right.
And you feel
Everyone
sexy
has their,
now. It's not the granny panties.
exactly. The cut is very, very
Yeah. Hi. How you doing? How you
nice.
been? Uh-huh.
Exactly. And if you work out and you really want to take care of yourself, you want to
Yeah.
show it off too, right?
Now I haven't gotten to try the new line yet. So is it what, like, is the material, is there like cotton on the inside, or is it like what is the material?
It's a polyester blend,
Okay.
polyamide actually. Obviously, it has a cotton gusset, so we want to make sure that we take
Yeah.
care and of all the special
That's all I
parts.
need to
Yeah.
write. Right. The lady parts, they like cotton. Thank you, mom. My mom one
Yes.
day was like, only cotton, only cotton, only cotton. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
having the cotton where you need it. We don't even need to go any more into that. Thank you.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, great. Placing my order immediately. um, and so also you have now a swim line.
We do. We just launched pre-orders last month, and we're about to deliver the first collection next week. It's really, really exciting for us because this is our reintroduction to swim. We did it many, many years ago, and with the tremendous success we've had with the special sizing of our curvy bralettes, we had so much demand and requests for swim. Just like you said, I want to wear it outside, make something that I can really have great support in, but enjoy it when I'm swimming and I'm out, and I can feel just as supported in the everyday life as I am in my intimate apparel. So that was a real impetus for it, and so we're really excited to finally deliver what
I
everyone's been
have to
asking
say,
for.
I always wondered, now me knowing nothing about fashion design,
Yeah.
nothing about lingerie construction, nothing about any of that. I always wondered why more lingerie companies didn't do swim, because it just seems so natural. If you are providing the support that I'm wearing every day, well, I want that on the beach. I don't want some like little flimsy piece of nothing.
Exactly.
So is it just really, is it a challenging thing to design and develop?
Well, bras are challenging.
Oh,
Speak about an engineering feat. It really is a challenge, especially to fit just so many different bodies and fit the right way with every woman or everyone feeling the way that feels to feel supported. It's very challenging. So swim, honestly, it's a smaller market because it's seasonal. So
right,
there's a lot of brands don't want to go into a market where you can't have sales year round. It becomes
right.
more difficult to manage inventory. It becomes more difficult to sell into those stores. It's also really controlled by a few players. Many people don't know that many of the brands you see in the stores are really all licensed brands, controlled and produced by a few manufacturers.
Right.
So it's a more difficult area to tap and really get into because the buying of those products is really centralized in a few players. So
Right.
a little
Oh, so
behind the
interesting.
scenes
You know,
industry.
it's the same thing with beauty. And I think some people know that and some people don't. Most of these big
Right.
brands that we love are actually all under one giant umbrella family house.
Exactly. Very similar in the swimmer market. So
Yeah.
they
And
appeal to different segments and they look different and that's the business.
got it. So okay, so you haven't shipped these yet. They're
No.
shipping soon. So
Yeah.
what is like the initial reaction been to this?
It's been tremendous. Like we've just had Facebook groups like asking for so long. So once we've announced it, it was just a flood of people coming to the site and We're pretty much almost sold out of our first delivery. We did like a real soft launch just on the site, just to feel, we want to really get everyone's feedback and make sure that we're improving the product with the next launch. And so we're really excited to get it in everyone's hands and finally get
And yeah,
that sense.
it's eco-friendly too.
Yeah, the fabrics we're using are sustainable, and it has all the right components and all the things that people have been asking for. We tried to bring them into this line. So,
and thank you, by the way, for putting women on the website who weren't only stick thin, who we see some curvy women who are,
yeah,
I think that too, that's one of the things I really like about Cosabella is that you have this like ultra curvy line. You've really embraced, inclusive sizing. I mean, when I
yes,
grew up and I was like I went from like a zero, A cup to like a 32D overnight in my teenage years. And I remember at the
yeah,
time it was like strapless, but there was no a strapless bra, but it was pointless. There was not that
yeah.
technology there. And I think about for my prom dress, I had a low back, and my mother actually had to sew these ribbons on the side because you're going to have to see it because the support comes from the band.
Right.
And there was just nothing. And
Nothing.
now we've come so far with like just the technology. It's great.
Yeah, so many women-led companies are really pushing what a function, it's truly more about the function and the beauty and the fit and the comfort, versus just the look. Really integrating all of it together is the key. And
Thank you, ladies.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Um, what do you think now? We're going into the fall. And so I know that you have these beautiful bralettes that are meant to be seen. Now you have this new line
Yeah.
that's meant to not be seen. What's next for Cosabella? And of course, you've got the swimwear coming out.
Well, what's next? We just embarked on a refresh of our brand, which
Okay.
is really important because we, apart from swim and all the requests we've gotten for that, we have a lot of men shoppers on our site that also want to enjoy the products that women have been enjoying for so long. I have to say, so we have to, we thought that it would be the right step in the company's evolution, yet another step to rebrand the line to be a little bit less focused on the female and feminine and pink. If you know our logo, it has that bright fuchsia. So if you look at our site now and you see our logo, it's really a level of sophistication that we're growing into, and really much more, even more inclusive than we were.
So when you
So
say, wait, I have to take you back for a minute there because when you
yeah,
say that men are shopping, I mean, we live in a
yes,
very different world. Are you talking about men who also like to, gosh, how do you even put this? But maybe men who are biological men who are wearing
yes.
women. Got it. Okay.
They
So
like
a
to wear the
total
bralettes. They
love it.
they're
Oh, I
asking
love
for
that.
their fit. So the same way that we found this,
Wow. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I know. I
is a
know. I know
pleasure.
the times we live in, but sometimes it still blows my mind, things that we
Yeah.
don't think about. Oh, good for you.
So
Wow, this is a big deal.
it's a very big deal. And so we have to, the world is changing, not at the
Yeah.
same pace. Not everybody's accepting in the same way, but we want to continue to be part of the change and continue to make inclusive even more inclusive. And so we're going to be making some products that are for the male body form. And
Ah,
that's launching in looks like October right now. We're very excited. So whether it's pajamas or bras that have the opposite of curvy, the curvy was the um, great depth with small circumference. This is the opposite: smaller depth, greater circumference of bralettes.
wow. What is that?
It's
What
a
is that
different,
line going to be called? Do you know yet?
well, right now it's called the beauty,
Okay.
but we're really trying to change the perception of how to shop too. So it's not like the women's section and the men's section. It's find my fit. It's really about the form. It
Right.
and we all have find fit differently in every brand.
Sure.
And so we're trying to change the way that the consumer can also come to our site and shop. So it'll be an interesting evolution.
I love that.
We're
I
gonna
love
keep
that. I love
learning.
that. I love that. And listen, I just want to call out right there because I was trying to figure out the right way to say something. Good for you for being brave and for doing this in a time where, you know what, sometimes I find lately that people, we don't want to offend anybody. And yet we're
Right.
so afraid to talk about things. So I hope certainly I didn't offend anybody by not, sometimes these new gender, I don't know them
I
all,
know.
but I
Right.
certainly, I just respect everybody out there. I love the inclusivity. I love that you are doing this right now so that people can go on. And you're right too.
Yeah.
Fit is so different for women, for men. I mean, across the board for
Exactly.
everybody. And I actually did a fit.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get to do a fitting with one of your experts. Who, by the way, informed me that my bra size that I thought it was not really. It was just what I thought it was because here in the US sizes are so limited.
Yeah.
So
Or we
I
stick to
highly
the
recommend
size that we had. It's, from when we
yes,
were a teen.
highly recommend men, women, everything in
Yeah.
between. Go to the Cosabella site, figure out how to fit yourself properly. It's really, really
We have
worth it.
virtual fittings. Very exciting. It's really, the times are continuing to change, and we are 40 years in and have seen the market change so much. And Guido and I, we want to continue bringing innovation to intimate apparel and sleepwear, and we're here for 40 more years.
I love this. I had no idea about this new line. I cannot wait to see it, to dig into it, to talk to some of my friends who I know will be looking at this. So thank you so, so much for that. I'm really just blown away right now. Okay. So if people want to know more about this new launch that's coming up, if they want to know more about swim, the No More Visible Panty lines, the free cut line, where can they go?
Cosabella.com is the key. It has everything you've ever been looking for and more. So please visit us, tell us what you think. And we look forward to helping you find your perfect fit.
I want to hear from you. If anybody tries this new launches, please email me. Let me know what you think at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. I'm so excited to hear about that. Also, I suggest doing the virtual fitting. You can also find that on their line at Cosabella. Huge fan of these. Beautiful bralettes. They're so beautiful and so comfortable. So unfortunately, I think that we might, we're not out of the woods yet for this whole pandemic. So if you're looking for that comfy but yet sexy line, this is a good place to go. Thank you so much for being on today, Silvia.
Thank you.
Kisses. Thank you. And if you want to know more, you can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.